What's up, guys? Carl from TDG here, coming up with episode 4 for the Schedule 1 playthrough. So for today, what we're going to do is give a brief outline of the content in today's video. We're going to be focusing on leveling up our products, trying out our first 2 mixes. We're going to continue to increase and expand the types of products that we're doing, expanding the operations through more dealers, and we're also probably going to head over and check out a little bit of the casino and have our first round of blackjack. So we can see right now we headed over to the gas station and we're picking up the first products that we're going to use, some Coke can and some banana for our first mixes, and we're going to be running back over to the hotel or to the room right now to start that up. We're going to be experimenting a little bit here, so figuring out how much of that we're going to be doing. I bought 10 of each just to kind of try it out and get an idea, kind of going for something a little fruity, a little refreshing, and really just kind of testing this whole thing out. While we're doing that, we're also going to be trying to keep ourselves topped off with product and with the plants growing, keeping everything going. We're also going to try to maximize the grow on every seed, so we're going to try and make sure that we have enough PGR and fertilizer going into every one of these plants so that we can continue to maximize the profit. A little later in the video, I'll be doing a quick little breakdown on just what that actually looks like for the Granddaddy Perp seed. I thought it was a little interesting to look at and get an idea of what you're turning for a profit margin with some of that stuff. But anyway, with that being said, so our first product is done. We got our first mix out of the way with the bananas, and now we're going to be looking at doing it with the soda. And here's hoping it has a better name than Fruity Puke, because that's not the most enticing thing I have ever heard. And with that being said, so clearly looking over here, the garbage was starting to bother me, and very quickly put that back down, instead deciding to package up some of the product that we had. Actually, kind of a funny name that came from that second mix, California Cookies. I don't really understand how we get California Cookies from adding soda to the product, but is what it is. So one of the things that I want to make sure that I'm doing is I always want to try to make sure that I'm including in the videos the sales and deals that we're making, but let me know what you guys think down below. Is that something that you want me to include, don't want me to include, maybe certain aspects of it? I've also noticed that between the editing phases of these videos that some of these late night sales have been kind of hard to see during the actual playback. So let me know down below with that as well. Is this something that you've been experiencing? Is it too difficult to see during the actual watching of the videos? And if that's the case, I'll move them earlier and keep them earlier. I actually plan on the upcoming videos having these sales take place a little earlier in the day too. But with that being said, you can see that we're trying to focus on using and getting rid of some of that OG Kush that we have left from the first episode or second episode, where we included the speed grow to it and got the bad quality. So that's just something that I'm trying to keep in mind and focus on getting rid of so that I can get that product out of my hands. All right, so we're gonna make a quick dodge across to get over to the payphone to talk to Uncle Nelson, who actually wants us to continue trying to experiment with the mixes so that we can come up with some harder mixes, some things that are worth a little bit more. Gonna run back to the hotel room or the apartment, trim up a little bit of the bud, get a little bit more product going, and get ready to start replanting. And I feel like this would be a good opportunity to talk about my thoughts on the game so far. Overall, I've been feeling like this game has so far been a really good mix of like having things that you've needed to do and things that you've wanted to do. It's been something that's really allowed me to really relax while I've been playing the game, but also has kept me really engaged, trying to make sure that I'm maximizing or, taking more steps. With that being said, just to dive a little deeper, I've really enjoyed how it allows you to kind of control the depth of your gameplay as well. Whether you choose to continue to really push the mixes and find new variants of combinations that you can do, or just really focus on the general gameplay loop of growing, selling, planting, all that other good stuff. It's just been really enjoyable, really fun so far. I'm excited to see what opens up and what is coming as the game continues to progress. And at the end of night 1, we can see that we sold 7 OG Kush and 1 sour for a total of $462, while Benji was able to sell another $438 worth of product, bringing total sales just under the $900 threshold. And for the start of day 2, we're going to be focusing on adding new customers, trying to increase our sales that way. and also going to be focusing on handing out these samples. Primarily, we're going to be looking to use some of the OG Kush if there is any of that bad product left over. Otherwise, we're just trying to figure out what's going to give us the best rate of return or the best chance of success between the product that we're running around with on us currently. Just trying to run around and keep everything organized using the mini map to locate where people are. You can see get a little turned around here. Wasn't quite able to find the guy inside the tattoo parlor right away, but figured that out lickety split, and this was pretty funny. All right, and just two dudes having a conversation here, normal conversation. And okay, where were we? Let's get down to this thing. Let's figure out what he likes the best and see what's going to give us the best chance of success. And nope, okay, wasn't even worth it at the end of the day. All that risk for nothing. So we actually ended up pushing through our product tiers pretty quickly, finishing up some of the sour diesel that we have, and we have a whole bunch of the green crack planted at the room. But right here, you're going to see that we actually are able to order the Granddaddy Perp. I'm not really sure how we did that already. We haven't technically hit the level up requirement, but either way, I think we probably managed to get some experience somewhere, and the game is recognizing that on the back end. But here we're working to take care of the main story quest line, hitting the real estate agent, the car dealership, as well as the mechanic, in order to progress this a little bit further and get ourselves moving on that storyline. Running by the casino here. Don't worry, we will be back here in the future, and you guys will see how that goes. So here we're just running around, picking up some collections from Benji, making sure we swap out some of the product that he has, try to get him to have a little bit more production here. And again, this is where we're going to start focusing on that OG Kush for our samples. I started recognizing that he just really wasn't able to move this, and I figured it would be better off if it was in my hands and I could just kind of mess around with it, try to give it out, and see if I could make do with it or whatever was going to come of it that way. Also, so in a previous episode, I had mentioned that it was taking a long time for the buys to come through, and I think we could see now that on the left-hand side of the screen, they are just absolutely pouring in, which it felt really good because it's, really just representative of expanding the client list, which has been pretty cool. And then one other thing I wanted to just touch on, and I mentioned this earlier as well, I was looking at kind of what the return or the rate of return was on our current plant or our yield. So the cost of the PGR, the fertilizer, the soil, and the perp seed is going to be about $120 per plant, and we're currently selling each piece of the product at $60. So we're basically turning a profit of $600 per plant, which is pretty cool. I'm not really sure how many of you guys would be interested with that, but it's just one of the ways that I like to look at the way that I'm playing the game, to see what the rate of return is for the products that I'm making, to see if I'm increasing the yield or decreasing the yield, or what's actually worth it, and kind of how to do this moving forward. And then just one thing I'm realizing here in the playback is that originally I didn't notice where the mixed items were popping up, but seeing it there, I could see they were right after the Granddaddy Perp. They were actually right behind it, so that's good to know going forward. And we can see on the left side of the screen how many of these sales we actually have. And let me tell you, some of them get a little tricky. I really was surprised how hard one of these zones were to try and make the sale. I really felt like I was trying to squeeze in between the buildings and the trees to try to avoid some of the detection. So you can see here we're just kind of darting from person to person, trying to avoid the flashlights or the police. Anytime you're noticing those question marks, we're trying to just avoid them as easy as possible. But this is the zone right here. It really just felt like as soon as I would poke my head out from the side here, I was just getting seen. It didn't really matter if I tried to crouch, flashlight on, flashlight off. It really didn't matter. And then I just ended up just committing to it here because I couldn't figure out what to do. And actually, it was way easier than I thought it was going to be, just hiding in the trees and then bailing out of it. So that was a little bit of maybe unnecessary difficulty that I added into the game. But anyway, yeah, here I thought it was pretty funny. Geraldine and Ludwig just kind of hanging out side by side, kind of BSing a little bit while they're getting ready to make their deals. I just thought that was a little humor to that. All right, so now for the real fun. I got about $4,000 to my name after finishing up all these deals, and I decided to head over and start making our way over to the casino. And boy, let me tell you, it felt like it was real life here. There was everything in favor of the house here, and it was like we just could not catch a break. So anyway, without any further ado, we head in here with about 4K to our name. We're obviously going to be going for some maximum bets here with the full 1,000, and we're going to start this off. And I thought we were doing pretty good here. We'll hit that first one to get us to a 15. And I probably should have stayed here with a 3 facing up, but we hit again. We bust. No big deal. We catch a blackjack to win the second hand, getting us back to even. And, I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be okay. We got our 17 coming out. And, of course, dealer catches a lucky 19, gets the win. Then we pull pocket kings. I'm thinking, 20. That's just an easy stand. We'll be good. Nope. Dealer pulls a 21. Yeah, at this point, I'm just like, I'm a little frustrated. I'm like, come on, we shake yourself out of it. We got this thing. And so we catch an 18. And, yeah, obviously we get beat, right? Come on. You had to see that one coming. Then we're going to come up clutch here with a 19 for the win. And then into that second hand, we're going to stay with an 18. And, would you believe we get another win? So back-to-back wins here. We're feeling good. Bust immediately with a 22. And then 13, you got to hit a 13. 19, you got to feel good about a 19. And dealer flips a 20. No shot. So we got one hand left. We're making the most of it. 17, you got to stay with it. And dealer ends up flipping a 19. So like any good gambler, we have $89 left to our name. And what do you think we do? Good old 50-50. We get down to about exactly what we have left. And we're going to let it all ride on red or black. And we're going to let it rip. Come on, did you really see that ending any other way? So we're going to try to walk out of here without making eye contact with anybody. Feeling a little embarrassed, a little ashamed about everything that we just let happen. And just trying to make it back to our room in one piece before we break down. Ending night 2, we sold a total of 16 sour, 18 green for a total of $2,800 and another $772 brought in by our dealers. We ended up leveling all the way up to Hoodlum 5, which is why I think we were actually able to buy that perp so early. I think there must have just been some background experience that was being attributed to us that the game was giving us credit for to allow us to buy higher level seeds. But anyway, so we're going to be focused on keeping everything planted, stocked up, and we're going to be grabbing some of the items that we are in need of getting everything grown, trimming up some of these plants over here, and just getting everything moving in the right direction. One of the things I wanted to talk about is I think it would be a pretty cool quality of life feature, and I'm not sure if this exists already in the game, but a pretty cool quality of life feature to have like a quick list or a frequent buy list, something where you could click a preset listing like a PGR or a fertilizer, soil, thing like that to a set amount where you can just come in, click one button, grab it and go. I think that would be pretty fun to get going, or pretty easy, simplifying some of the inventory management process. So here you're seeing we're getting our first perp seeds planted and all set up, getting the PGR going and the fertilizer going. This is pretty exciting. This is, I thought, pretty quick. Like I said before, I couldn't believe how fast we moved through the intermediate rounds here. So this was pretty fun. And after getting all of this situated, we're going to finish watering these plants, and then we're going to bounce our way over to the storage or the bagging table, and we're going to take care of getting some of the product bagged up. And then in a second here, you're going to see the ADHD act up a little bit and get a little hyperfixated on how messy that. And we're just humming these things out the front door. We're going to make sure that we get all these sales activated and set up. As you can see in that left corner again, we got a ton of sales coming in. So in between here, we're going to run over to collect from Benji. We're going to take a peek at the inventory that he has, do a little inventory management after we do the collections here. And then we are going to start running around the city to make our sales. And first, we're going to stop over here by Charles and get a new customer set up, make a sale quickly over here, and then start queuing up a couple more sales before we run over the ravine and get over to, actually almost beat Jerry over to the sale point. So we're going to hit a couple of these, like I said, and then wouldn't you know it, as we run over here, bang, just like that, we got our second dealer, baby. Let's go, expanding this business and getting more inventory flowing. It's going to be fun for us to be able to focus on that in the coming episodes and really start to just focus on producing some more supply so we can get some of that passive income floating around. Also looking forward to being able to dedicate an episode, maybe we'll do it the next episode, towards really experimenting with some of these mixing tables and trying to come up with some cool mixes. So that was our last deal here. We had to really wait. I guess I had set everything else to nighttime, and that last one was set to late night. So we just kind of hung out over there. I clipped it real quick, made our last round of collections for the night, and then we are harvesting our first round of Granddaddy Perp, baby. Let's go. Getting this process moving, getting that second set of seeds all planted up and ready to go. And okay guys, for all of you who made it this far into the video, I wanted to say thank you for sticking with it. I've really been enjoying making these videos, and I really look forward to continuing to produce them and taking all the feedback from the comments down below and continuing to apply that to make better videos for you guys every day. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and leave any comments that you have down below, any things that you'd like to see done, any changes that you'd like to see made, recommendations, anything like that. And with that being said, we're getting ready to wrap up the end of night 3 for a total of 27 green cracks sold for 2,373 cash for the player and 1,216 cash for Benji. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.